So I was on YouTube looking at all the new uploads from the YouTubers I subscribe to, and I started to notice that each YouTuber seems to have a pattern and a style for their thumbnails and titles and the subject matter of their videos. And I'm guilty of this too, but it gave me the idea to try and recreate some of these popular YouTubers' thumbnails and titles and see if you guys can guess who I'm recreating. So I'm gonna put those thumbnails on the screen one by one and let you guess, and then afterwards I'll show you my process of making each one of those here in my office. Also, be sure to comment down below how many of these you guessed right on, and without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm gonna start with one of the hardest ones first, just it has the most involved with it, and that is from the epic B-roll king, that is Daniel Schiffer. So basically I've got this sangria seltzer and I'm going to be putting it up about yay high and filming it up against my TV and putting a background on there to stylize the videos and match the colors of this drink, kind of like he would. And then I'm gonna get the behind the scenes photo for the thumbnail as well. Now the real trick though is I don't have anything really to set this on. So I'm probably gonna stack this little table onto a chair and ghetto rig it. So I've got this little black plastic thing that I'm going to lay on top of the desk. That way I can set the drink on there and get some reflections as well. All right, I got YouTube pulled up, matching the same colors, and I'll show you how it looks right now. So what I did for this one was I added both the behind the scenes shot of me filming the drink and the shot of the drink to Adobe Premiere, and then added a crop and a feather, and then I finished it up with some color. You know, I knew this was gonna be a really long YouTube video to make, but that setup probably took like 30 minutes to do and then film it and all that, and I've got so many more left. It's time to take all this down and then set up the one for me, which is going to be the hardest because my cat is a grump. So here goes nothing. I got this all set up now so I can do the cat shot. So I'm going to be having the floating cat. So I have to be mindful of where my hands go because I'm gonna have to paint it out. The trick here is going to be tricking the cat like I'm doing all this out of love and not for a YouTube video. So we'll see how she cooperates. She has no idea. Oh wow, big yawns. Yeah. Here. Starting not having it. That went about as good as I thought. And now I'm covered in cat hair, so. Now for my thumbnail, I isolated my cat in Photoshop and then did the same for the shot of me and the cat, but I added an outer yellow glow. I then brought those PNGs into After Effects with my clean plate of my office and then masked out my hands and replaced it with my cat's hair. And then after I added the text and the After Effects logo, we'd be ready to upload. Now it's time to hit the Peter McKinnon, which is going to be a play on how he likes the everyday carries and also, you know, camera stuff. So I'm going to make a joke that it's got the world's tiniest camera lens. And it's going to be a close-up picture of his hand because he does those a lot. So here we go. So what I just did there was get a still image of that lens so I can mask it down, scale it down, and then act like it's in my fingers and I'm holding the world's smallest camera lens. I also Googled for tattoos similar to the ones on Peter McKinnon's hands and looked at photos of his hands as reference, and then I added them to my hand in the thumbnail to try and help you figure out which one I'm recreating. And now we're going to do the old MrBeast. But would it be MrBeast if there wasn't a stack of cash? So, got this. For this one, I isolated my subject in Photoshop and then I downloaded a photo from Unsplash of a powerlifter. I then extended the width of the shot by duplicating it and then sliding the bottom layer to the left a little bit and then adding a crop and a feather to blend it, and then I placed my subject over part of that seam. I then Googled for MrBeast font and then added the title. Now, don't really need to go anywhere for this one. Got the old CASEYNEISTAT classic glasses on and close up to the camera with all lowercase. For Casey's, I brought my shot into After Effects, then duplicated it. I then masked the lenses and tinted them to purple, and finally I painted white scribbles around the lenses. All right, moving on, but we don't have to go very far either. We're gonna do it right here, and we're gonna do the Matti haapoja. Gonna have to take the mic off here, put it on here for the vlog setup. I've got camera inception going on in here. So this is what Matti's camera sees when he's taking these thumbnails. Half of being a YouTuber is knowing what face to make. You look stupid all the time, but you gotta play the game. On this one, I isolated the subject in Photoshop, downloaded a PNG of the YouTube logo and found a similar font, and then created a basic color gradient by using a color mat and adding a vignette. My office is a complete wreck right now. Don't mind the crime scene. That's basically as good as it's gonna get in here. And it is getting so hot in this room with all these lights on. I am sweating. All right, we're going to now get into Film Riot, and we're going to recreate the effects seen in everything, everywhere, all at once. So I need to first shoot this well lit like this, and then I'm gonna have to turn off the lights and switch up the lighting just a little bit and stay in the same spot, and then I'll be good. All right, turned off the light above me, and then I lowered the intensity of my dome light right here, and now just make the exact same expression. Now for this one, I downloaded Action VFX's free broken glass PNGs and masked out a part of one of them, and then scaled it up so that the fractured glass extended across the entire frame. I then continued to duplicate my two shots, masking around the cracks while keeping the first shot on the left and the second shot on the right. I gave each shot a slight offset and then added a little bit of RGB distortion on the cracks using Red Giant's chromatic aberration. I then took the movie poster of Everything Everywhere All at Once and used the Luma key to isolate the title to use on the thumbnail. All right, so now for part of my corridor crew one, I'm gonna have to get a reaction just to put me in the little corner of the frame reacting to how crazy the video is. Now for corridors, I isolated the subject again in Photoshop and gave it that outer yellow glow. I then brought a robot and a vault into Cinema 4D, and unfortunately Mixamo wasn't recognizing any robot model that I was bringing in, so I couldn't auto rig it. And unfortunately, I don't know how to rig 3D characters yet, so I was forced to export an alpha layer of the robot and then a layer of the bank vault and try to use the puppet tool in After Effects to manipulate the robot. Now that can only get you so far, so I then masked the profile angle of the hand and duplicated them to make it look like fingers and wrapped them around the money bag emoji. I then Googled Corridor Crew's font and added text to the thumbnail. Now we're going to do cinecom. And they normally do a Hollywood effect or a music video effect, something like that. They do a lot of Marvel, it seems like, so I decided to go with Moon Knight and do like a little transformation thing. I'm just gonna have to be doing the thumbnail, so I'm just gonna like put my face over half of Moon Knight's face, then try and decorate it. But I'm going off of this image right here, so I have to light it the exact same. So that means I'm gonna turn off my edge light. Now I'll just leave it like this, but I'm gonna change the white balance real quick. Also, the lighting needs to be more lit over here and dark over here. So you can clearly tell I got sunburned yesterday. This should be good. For cinecom.net, I added my subject shot and the Moon Knight shot to After Effects, and then I placed the subject's face over the Moon Knight character and masked right down the middle. I then masked out parts of his mummy wrap that's part of his suit and adjusted the scale to make it look like it was stretching around the subject. I then added the After Effects logo and gave it a glow and placed it behind the character, and then finished up with some text. And now it's time for the Chris Howe, the Instagram algorithm man. So a disappointed face looking at my phone, and I'll throw some other stuff on the screen. For Chris's, I isolated my subject in Photoshop, and then I got an image of an IG like and a downward trending graph, and then I brought them into After Effects. I then created a basic color gradient and then added text. For this one, I just looked up one of A$AP Rocky's music videos and found two of the most trippy shots in there, and then I blended them together by masking and feathering. I brought in the Premiere and the After Effects logo, and then a still shot of one of Max's actual thumbnails, and then tinted it to be the same color because he uses these slightly different colors for those logos often. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did creating it. And if you did, consider subscribing. And then also don't forget to let me know down in the comments how many of those you got right. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.